So some return types in our business class, right, which we have hard coded as success or fail or failure or failed or something, right? So we have few constants being defined in being provided in our one of the interfaces. The name of that interface is action support interface. It can be, you can actually use action, or you can also use something called action support, right? So why do we need to implement these interfaces? Some few things are, few constants are already been uh, implemented in this. So you can directly use them into your class, and instead of hard coding things like success, I mean, or fail, right? You can use the corresponding things. So let me show you one thing. So we can actually implement that. Implements, you have something called action. Either you can go for direct action, but we'll go for specific thing which is action support. It is not implemented. We have something called action support. Okay, maybe in this, let's implement action first. Action which we have work to action, right? So in this action dot, let me see what is here. Okay, we have direct thing, doesn't matter. So in the new one, it's action directly. So once you actually implement either action or action support, right, you'll get some constants like, you can see that you will have something called direct constants like this. You have direct action, you can see success, you have input. I'll give you what exactly the constants are there, what are the different constants you have in this. You have 5 different constants. So instead of actually returning this constant, this type of hard coding, right, you can directly return the action support constants, right, like this success. And if you want to return any failure, so for failure you have something called error, error standard action. In the same way you have something called error, right? And you have to handle this corresponding thing in your XMLs here, in your Strut XML, where success will be success same, and you have to change your failed with error. So I want to change this. So let's run this. Go ahead and login. ABC 1 2 3 login, right? You can see it got a success and it went to the success page. Go back, give something wrong, login. Now you can see it got failed and it went to login fail. So that is how we can actually use a standard annotations which we have in our action interface, where we have some constants being defined, right? So there are 5 different constants being, or we should say actions, 5 different actions we have in action interface. The first one is success, and this is a final constant actually. So this constant value is success. I mean, the all the constants name will be in caps, and the return value will be in a small with the same spell. You have error constant, where this error is your small error. You have something called login constant, and the value is login. You have something called input constant. So these are all provided. So based on your requirement, you can use them. whatever you want to return, you can use any one of them actually, right? You have a none can be enough. So these are five action constants we have in our action interface, right? And we can use any of them. And you have to make sure that if you are returning anything, so you can see here, I was actually returning success action constant here, right? And when I went to start XML, I'm actually using the value of that success. In the same way, if you're using error, you have to use your error in handling your start XML. That is where we have handled our small small case error value. Right? So in this way, you can actually use your action interface. There are few more things in action interface. So as we go on with other things, we'll see what are the different things we have. But as of now, just we have this is an introduction of action interface, which is under your com.opensymphony.xwork2. You will actually find even action class in different things like swing. You have some more sun core. So these are not these are not the struts actions, right? You have to actually, so these are package name which we have in struts, OpenSymphony and XWork2, right? So basically, if you remember, struts was basically called as webwork. It was not struts, right? When it was webwork and XWork2, at that point of time when they actually created interfaces and classes, right? They actually use that name, right? So that is why we have to implement this, and you can use accordingly. So this will actually reduce your hard coding of right hard coding of return types. If you want to change anything, you have to handle any one of your constants. It is not mandatory, but yes, you can use them as you have already there in your action interface. Okay? So this is something which is about our action interface. Now, yeah, so let's get into the next one. So till now we have seen something like creation of strat XML, right? So there is one more very important concept which we have in struts, which is rather more useful. That so we have seen something like you can create multiple actions, right? You can create multiple packages as said, right? Now let's say in your website, right, there won't be one or two pages, right? There will be hundreds of pages. If you're actually creating some tutorial site, right, then obviously it will go more than some considerable pages. Then you can't actually have one file, one XML file to actually call everything, right? So in that case, we have something called, you can actually create multiple strat XMLs in strat application. Now, in this class, we'll see how to create multiple strat XMLs and how can we integrate them and how the call will happen with that multiple XML files, multiple strat XML files, controllers, right? Now, even if you're creating multiple strat XML, yeah, Ujjwala?
Hello. I have one question.
Sure, Ujjwala.
So in this particular exam, where do we handle the validation? In action class or in just?
Which validation?
Validation means if that we have written failed JSP, right? So when it's success, it goes to welcome. So if it is not successful, then it goes to failed JSP.
Okay.
That means the login name or something like that. Yesterday we were validating. So where are we validating that?
So we are validating here, right? We have created a separate
Validate
class, validate credentials,
okay.
and we are validating here, right?
In Java class. Okay.
Yeah, this is our action class, and these are business service. So in business service class, we were validating, huh? So we were calling this method from here.
Okay. So, so this is a MVC structure. So the servlet comes into the picture in a web application.
Yeah, you can create
servlets. Can we use servlet?
Yes. You can create servlets. You can see in case of your view, right? So what I was talking about, right? In case of your view, maybe if you want to actually interact between one JSP to other JSP, in between you can also use servlet. There is no harm in that. But basically, you should not use servlet as a controller. That is one thing which is very important here. you will
Okay.
not be able to. I mean, rather, I'll just change my statement. It is not like you shouldn't use. It is like, you won't be able to use struts, I mean servlet as a controller. Okay, but yes, you can use servlets in this. While interacting between views, if you want to
Okay.
go through servlets, you can go. Even you can also create your filters to the servlets too, right? Yeah, whatever we have learned in JSPs and servers, each and every concept can be implemented here. But the only thing is, everything will and must go through the controller, which is Struts. Right? Yeah. So let us see how we can actually create multiple strut XMLs, right? And basically, when I'm talking about multiple strut XMLs, right, one mother XML should be there, right? This strut XML should be there, and this again will be the bottleneck of all other strut XMLs. If you create a simple XML, right, it doesn't mean that that XML will act as a controller. No, you have to collaborate even the multiple XMLs with this XML. Unless you do that, those XMLs are waste, right? Those XMLs will be useless. So let's create one. So now we are going to create one more complete MVC pattern as such, right? So which we have already created, like how to get XML, what page you want to create and all. Right? So let's create one more XML, which is let me go back and see other XML file. Next, so let me call it as struts -2 maybe .xml. Right? Click on finish. Now you can see this is my second strut XML. Now let me copy this header. This header should be common because we have to make this XML as a strut XML basically. Now, so again, everything will be same. You have to create your own things, which is strut tag and package tag. So in package tag, so you have to write your name. So let us say this name of this package is second. Let me take some name second, and namespace, let me give the default namespace, and extends is again the same thing, which is your struts default, which we used to give here. Extends your struts default. So this should be same, guys. Right? Now here, let's give some action. So let me call this action as some maybe what can we take? So let me call it second itself, second action, right? And class. So we have to mention class. You can either give a same class which we have already created, or let's create a new class. I mean new action class, right? So let me call it as second action again. Finish. So here we'll keep something called public method, which returns a string, and you have a execute method. Right? So from now on, we won't hard code anything. We'll just implement action, which is action symphonies one, and then we'll just say return success. So now this is my class. So let me just copy the package, go to this, copy it, and dot. You have your class name, which is your second action. Right? So let me differentiate this second action. So let's give some other name of this action. So let me give it as maybe login to. Okay, so login to is my action, and here we have to handle the result. So result here, let me just say you have your result type in, or you can actually leave that, or let me copy this welcome.jsp, or let's create a new JSP for that name. So let me just say if it is success, and then I want to go to welcome, let's say welcome to .jsp, right? We'll create a separate JSP for that. So let me create new, other, you already have that, new, you have JSP file, right? So let me welcome to .jsp. Just say this is welcome to JSP, right? And if it fails, let's go to the same. If it result is name error, right, then go to fail.jsp. So anyways, as of now we are not giving any error part here. We'll see that part, right? So as of now we are going to welcome to. Now let's use the same login. So in a same login, right, so we have already taken the first thing, right? So here itself, let me create one more slot, right? And in this, let's say I'm going to create the same form action but with a different action. So let me create a form again using, now let's create a simple HTML form, right? So that's much better. So in this action, so let me give from struts to, let me take this login to action, copy it there. Now here I'm going to take the same fields again, which is my input, username and password around. Simple. Right? So where I'm just going to give some space in between these two. Break up this. Fine. So this is one form section where I have a login thing where I'm actually this login is actually pointing to the main struts login where namespace is different and you have your login, right? And here you have a separate thing which is login separate form where I'm actually pointing to login to. So login to is not there in this struts, right? You can see login to is not there in any of these struts in any package, but it is there in my struts too, which is I have a package, so I have name of package is second2 and action is something, and we have some things now. So that's what I've taken. So forget about these names and all. We'll see when we actually give username and password now how to map them, right? Now when I run this application, right, it doesn't map these fields. Why? Because by default our controller will be struts2.xml. Until unless you collaborate this file which is struts2.xml with your strut.xml, right, it won't work. Now how to collaborate is, so in your struts tag, out of all the packages tag, right, you have to include that file. We have include a tag in struts. You can just include that name of your file, which is something called struts. The name should be same as -2.xml, as if you are actually including your normal resource file into this XML. Now once you include this, right, automatically as it is importing your struts framework, right, so this will also act as a action provider class. Now this second XML which you have created is now intact with your main strut XML. So now let us run this. Let me restart the server. So here you have my struts2, right? You have two different logins, right? So we are interested in second login, right? Because second login will take us to login 2. Now here, let me give anything because we don't have any validations as of now. Click on login. Now you can see it went to welcome to.jsp. Right? Now you can see the action which we are referring to is login to action, and in login to we are actually referring to the same class which is second action. It went to this, right? It executed, it called this method execute, It came back as it was success. It went to welcome.jsp. And now the main thing what is very important is tagging the including the file in main start.xml. Now let's say if you are not doing this, what happens? I'm just commenting this out. Let me restart the server. So let's go back to the XML again, which is so let's give something and some password. Click on login. Now you can see, right? It says resource not found. Right? So, which means even if you create multiple XMLs, right, doesn't matter at all. You have to include them in your mother XML, which is a strut XML. This is very important. Until unless you do that, it won't work. So let me clean it up. Go back to server. Restart your server again. Here you have few things. Login. Yeah, welcome to RCS. So that's how it works. So as of now, you can just see that, oh, we have created it very simply, but internally it goes to so many things, right? First, whenever you access your login.jsp, right, whenever you click on submit, right, so it will first go to Tomcat, and your web.xml will be is a filter, right? So in this filter, we are actually saying that, okay, you have to go to your filter dispatcher, which is structured filter dispatcher. So when we are actually giving this class, right, this class will automatically search for your strut.xml, right? And this strut.xml, it will find first, it will find the namespace. As we are giving the direct namespace, it will go to that namespace and search for action. In the same way, it will go to the struts too. Why? Because once all these packages are done, if it didn't get that action, it will see whether there are any more files been included. Yes, it will go to this and it will search as a package. Now you can see that including this file is nothing but including this package. You can directly copy this package, paste it here. It is same, right? But only thing is why we are modulating this in different files is just to create a logical XMLs where you have different logical business functionalities being implemented. Right? For that, we normally go for different XMLs. Now, even if you have a separate file of XML, right, even mapping will be done in the same way. So here you have username and password, right? Let's create the same attributes in this second action. You have your private string username, and you have your private string. You have something called password. Right, so let's create getter setters for this. It's very important. Until unless you have getter setter, it won't be mapped. Right, you have getter and setter username, and this is something which is a separate method, which is going to execute. And then you have these are your variables, and these are your getter setters of your method. Right, now let's go in this execute. So let me just say try catch here. So let me call the same business service which we have created. So we have created a business service. You can see login validator. It doesn't matter what exactly you're sending. We just have to send a username and password. Now in my second action too, I can use the same business service. CLS login validator dot. We have validate. So we have to give user, give get username and get password. Right. So this will validate our username and password, and it will give us a boolean. So just take it up in boolean. Let's say status. So if your boolean status is true, then return success, else return something called error. Right? Now if you get any exception, say return. Right? Simple. So in your second action, you are using the same business service. So this is a usage, guys. See, we have written one class, right? In different situations, right? We are using the same class to get the validation. So much of you can actually save so much of code over here, right? So let us say if you are actually getting the username and password from database, right? And you're actually doing so many validations here, right? Which means you don't have to write all the thing again here. You just have to call that, pass on the username and password, and that's it. We can just validate whether it is successful or not, right? Now let's run this. So restart the server. So let me start the browser, and so in this browser, let's just say my Struts 2 here. So let us give ABC again, right? And you have here 1, 2, 3, 4. Click on login. Now you can see it went to login. Welcome to .jsp. Get back and give some wrong username and password, login. Now you can see it got failed. Don't worry about ID because we are not using ID here, right? So we just got failed.login. So that is how your multiple things will work, right? So it doesn't stop here. You can actually create any number of set XML. So let me create one more XML. So let me call it as struts. You don't have to use stat XML. You can do any name normally, but we maintain this name so that we'll say that okay, this is your this XML, and follow the standard. You have to give struts hyphen or underscore, and after underscore just give the the reason why you are creating this XML. Let's say this XML is for some in one forum you are creating separate controller XML for, let us say, in one forum for one technology. Let's say for Java you are creating separate XML, right? So just give struts hyphen Java. Now this, in this start XML we are going to call all the views and action classes pertaining to Java forum questions, right? Yeah. So once you are done with this, you have to include this in your mother XML. So start, right? So this is how we create a second. Let me create all the things here. Now in your start XML again, you have to mention your header.
Ashina?
This is important. Yeah, Ujjwala.
Hello?
Yeah, Ujjwala.
So how did that window pop up? Did you do something for that? The include when you were including
No,
this XML into the main
just
structure
did
XML?
F2. F2 is like
Rename resource. Okay.
yeah, I just wanted to copy this, right?
Mm-hmm.
I clicked on F2. I just copied it.
Okay, okay.
Right. So yeah, so here you can create a package name. Let's say it's maybe third Java, right? You have names. You can just say namespace, and you have the extents. So always try to keep it safe.
Srinath?
Yeah, Jami?
Yeah, on the same lines, how did that doc type, those kind of things appear? Did you copy it or like, is there any
I have
shortcut
copied it. I
keys?
have copied this. Yeah, I've copied from our first start XML is there, right? I've copied this and
Okay.
I've pasted it here because don't take any chance of typing this, right? If anything goes wrong, your complete, your complete application will not work, right?
Okay.
This will be standard as such, so I've just copied it. So let's create some action here. Let me just say this is login 3 maybe, right? And I'm going to use the same class, right? Let's use the same class which we have used here. Second action, right? And then let's use the same things, but let's create a welcome3.jsp so that we can just say it is from JSP file, and we have welcome3.jsp. Just say right. So now, so we are done with this. So in my second action, so whenever it returns, I have to do this. Fine. So here in our login, we have to create one more section where we have to call the third one. So let me copy the same thing. let's say I'm going to give action as 3. Right? So let me rebuild the project, restart the server. So have we included that? Yes, we have included that. Fine. Now let's go back to this page. Okay, so we have got 3 different sections of login. So let me create ABC here and 1, 2, 3, 4. Click on login. Now you can see you're in welcome 3.jsp, and the action being called is your login 3 action. Right? Login 3 action, and if you just say something wrong here, login, now it will go to fail. Right? So this is how your multiple strut XMLs works, and you, if you're going to work on any strut based application, right, you will definitely, you have to try to use multiple XMLs, guys. Don't just feed one XML with all, with everything, right? Because it will become, so messy then, right? You can create any number of XMLs. That is much better actually. Any number of XMLs, and if you want to include these things at the top, you can also include. If you feel that it has to go to everything, you can include them at top. But it doesn't matter. First, it will check your mother XML, and then it will go step by step. That is for sure, right? So that is how you can actually create your multiple XMLs, and even your mapping will be done in the same way. You can see even mapping I've used even in my third XML, right? I've used for logging in, I've used the same action class, right? Maybe even in second, I would have used the same login action, right? Because I've written the same thing here, right? You can directly use in your struts too, instead of using second action, right? You can directly use your login action. It should work fine. If you have login action here, clean up, okay, and restart your server. Always, guys, whenever you change your any of XML or any of a raw file in your project, right, you should always restart your server. Right, so let's go to this. Let's say you have your ABC and you have your 1, 2, 3, 4. Click on login. Now you can see it goes to welcome to.jsp itself, because we are calling the same login action. In login action, what is more important is we are validating the credentials. Okay, we are giving the right credential. That's why even in struts 2, it will go to welcome to.jsp. So this is where you're actually redirecting to different pages, right? With respect to this. So only thing what you can get is this one. We're actually giving the standard name without giving any extension for this one. So in this way, you can actually create your multiple XMLs and include them. And tomorrow there is one thing which is very useful in this case. Tomorrow, let us say if you want to exclude some of the things, right? What you can do, you don't have to delete them. Directly go and just comment this or remove that part. That's it, right? All the things will work. So in real time, you will see so many. You will see some tens of, in multiples of tens, you will see different files being included. Yes, that happens. Why? Because we will be creating a complete different logical things in here, right? So that's how you have to mention this. Right? So now there is one more improvement to this multiple XMLs. Now let us say you have namespace being created. So let us say here I'm giving something called second as a my namespace, right? So the namespace is something we have already seen, right? I want to create all the pages under one roof, right? Separate directory roof, right? So even your multiple XMLs, you can also give that. So if I give this way, now let's go back and see what happens. So let me rerun the project. So restart the server. So normally, whenever you restart your server, right, your Tomcat will actually, your Eclipse basically, not Tomcat, your Eclipse will actually rebuild your project and redeploy everything. But why to take chance? So that's why I'm just always rebuilding the project from here itself. Okay, let's go back here. So let's create. So we have changed it now struts 2, right? So which is out there. So let me just take ABC and we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me give it. Now you can see it won't work. And why? We have given a separate namespace here. So with the same namespace here, right, whatever you're actually mentioning, you have to call your XML tool. You have to call in this way. You have to give that XML that, okay, this XML will come under this namespace. You have to mention this part. Let me rerun this. You have your login. Let me give something called ABC. Before click on login. Login to, we have created a login to, which is, so we gave second. Let me copy this. Copy this up and paste it here, which means I'm actually calling struts to XML with my second namespace. Perfect. And I'm giving login to with my page as welcome.jsp. Perfect. So in here, let me rerun the project, restart my server. Oh, okay. So here in your login, right, you have to mention your namespace, right? We just forgot that, right? Because we know that in our struts 2, we are trying to go to some namespace with that action, right? So obviously we have to mention. So if you remember yesterday, right, in our first XML, we are trying to, when we actually want to access this action, you have to go through the corresponding package's namespace. In the same way, if you are in struts 2, if you want to go to login to, then corresponding package is second package where you have to go through some namespace is second. So go back here and we are doing that part here. Second slash your login to. Now whenever you do this, it will go to start.xml. Okay, it will find, okay, so this is your package and we have this. Okay, perfect. Now let me run this. Restart the server. Go back here and let's say you have ABC and 1, 2, 3, 4. Click on login. Oops. It is login to, right? You are calling from login to, which is second slash login to. It will come here. So that package is not there. It will go to file with that package and struts.xml. It will go here. So we have that package namespace mentioned here and we have namespace. So why it is giving all these things? Let me stop the server and we will run from here itself. Okay, it is launching the server. So we have a ABC here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Click on login. Come on, man. Second, you can see here it went to second and it went to login to, which is perfect. When I say second and login to, it will go here. We have your second and login to. Let me demo this. Let's see what happens. But you have to mention the namespace over there. And clean this up. Restart your server. Okay. Okay. Why it is not accepting that? You can divide this with your XML. If I'm giving here, you have to divide your XML here too. Why it is not accepting? Okay, fine, that's fine. So maybe in our latest threads, right, it is, you can actually call them directly. So basically, you can also give the package name here, the namespace name here. So if you give that namespace name, what happens is it will actually go to that class and it will actually take that answer. That's fine. So you don't have to worry about your XML include, directly include them, and whatever package you are actually want to call from here, right, it will be directly related to that namespace package and corresponding action class. Perfect. No issues on that. Right. So this is how you can actually go ahead and create the multiple XMLs with different namespaces in that. Right. So you don't have to worry about namespace, right, when you are actually including your struts. Okay, you can just remove that point from your mind, right? So both will be same as such. Perfect. Right. So these are you can create, guys. So now obviously you can actually extend the same thing to multiple XMLs again. So till this part, you have any doubt? Anyways, this is something which is I hope it is confusing, but it is a straightforward concept of creating multiple things and including the raw file directly. Don't even use any namespace here. Fine. So is that fine? So that is how we created multiple things, and we have seen something which is our action implementation part today. Fine. So the next topic. So before interceptors, right? I just wanted to clear this part because we have to create interceptors in our Strut.xml, right? In a package. So until unless we have multiple XMLs being covered, right? So we will be creating interceptors for different action we want. We can create either for in this XML for particular package, or in different XMLs you can also create interceptor for different things, right? So interceptor, as I said, is basically like a firewall or a filter we have in Struts, right? So interceptor will be there. So there are some default interceptors which we can use, or we can create our own custom interceptors. So in real time, we also will be creating interceptors. So before that, we have few more concepts to cover. Right? We'll see them, and we'll enter into interceptor parts. Right? So till this part, guys. So you have any doubt in across? Have you gone through the complete project of Struts?